What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's episode 307 of the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
Always stroking.
Always stroking. It's Kyle and Ben. It's a new look. We got a new setup, new cameras. We're gonna have fun. You can see we got the driving range in the background. We're recording live from Bunkers Simulator Bar in Auburn.
You just keep talking.
I'm gonna keep talking, and Ben's gonna keep eating. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Bet Online, the #1 sports betting website in the country. Sign up today. Use coupon code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V. Get a 50% welcome bonus. Give them $100. They're going to give you 50 back free on top of that to play with. You got the Super Bowl. You've got the Super Bowl coming up. Ben,
big game.
You're right. The big game. Do you always take the over under? What's your biggest prop bets you like? For the Star Spangled Banner, things like that.
The national anthem, always got to bet the national anthem.
Gatorade color, got to be.
Gatorade color, which it's going to be pretty easy. It's got to be red. You got two red teams. It's got to be red.
Yeah.
I mean,
red's going to be like minus 750. So sign up, get your account ready, so you're ready for all those prop bets from the big game.
96 seconds. That's your bread and butter.
96 seconds.
If it is below 96 seconds, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So take the over. If they set it at 96, which I don't know what they've set it at yet. They set it at 96. Take the over. They're going to go over, especially with all these divas today. They're going to want to drag it out.
Yep. Take the over. Pound the over on the national anthem. But anyway, check them out. Bet Online is where the game starts. So again, we're recording live from Bunkers, just like we do every week. And I got a few big announcements. Number one, we got a new menu. So they've been really dialing in this menu. And they just brought us out some of the Sidewinder poutine fries. Okay, so you got gravy, cheese.
That's that South Alabama. It's poutine.
Prime,
it's not poutine.
Poontang, whatever. Prime rib. It tastes better than that, I guarantee you. Prime rib, all on these Sidewinder fries, and then obviously
Resume to approved.
There you go. You got the pizzas. You got burgers. Tachos and chips.
Also, check it out. If you're a regular here and you've been here before, so she asked me, they got on the drink side, the cocktails, they've got the chocolate espresso old fashioned.
Interesting.
I didn't want that because I told her I didn't want chocolate because we were going to be shooting. So I got they will do the regular old fashioned still.
Nice.
So you don't have to stick to the menu. You can say, hey, I want this, but I want it like this. And then she was more than happy to do it.
Absolutely. And then just a reminder, the Winter League 4-man scramble. Get your team. There's already 25 teams. They're only accepting like 32 or 36.
We're one, right?
We're one. Yeah. We got a team in here. You can play Monday through Thursday now, not just Sunday through Thursday, not just Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The sign-up party is Super Bowl Sunday. Bang! Come up in here. These things are going to be full of all the football game, and you get your tee gift. Your bags, all that good stuff. And then the following week, February, I believe 19th is when the play will actually start. And then it'll be 6 consecutive weeks after that. So don't wait. Sign up. Call now. Just look up the number on Google Bunkers and get the phone number. Call in and get signed up. And then the last thing, obviously, you still got Saturday and Sunday brunch. Sunday kids play free from 11 to 3. Take advantage of it. You can wear those kids out. They'll go home and take a nap. Trust me, it's Kyle approved.
Kyle brings his here all the time on Sunday.
They run me out of here. But anyway, so we love it here, and love the food, love the drinks, but we also love the simulators and love the atmosphere to talk golf. And huge stuff leaking this week. Huge stuff coming out. This is, to me, this is on the level of like Tiger Woods from a hype standpoint. Tiger Woods playing in a golf tournament. There's rumors that Anthony Kim, AK, is returning to golf. We feel like it's probably going to be the PGA Tour. We always thought it would be the LIV Tour. But I mean, we're talking Twitter's buzzing. There's a video clip of him on the range out there. It's big news. It's
expectations
are going to be unreasonable, completely unreasonable.
Yes, he has not played competitive. I don't know what he's been doing as far as his time off. Apparently, he hasn't lost his game because he began the negotiations with PGA and Live to talk to them. So now that that's out there, clearly he's got the game to compete, or he would have never.
Somebody say he shot a 62, like practicing recently. I've always wondered. So the question has always been why. Why did he step away? And I think we kind of all it all kind of tracked with it was a little bit like mental type.
Oh, I think pressure,
mental health type issues. Well, there's been speculation that there's insurance policies that were tied to that and like not playing.
Oh,
so do you want to come back because you're maybe making more from that than you are? And then that's all. The big rumor was that was a 10-year deal. Well, if you look at it, I think 2014 was his last.
Oh, it's exactly 10 years. If he comes back this year,
it's exactly 10 years.
Yeah.
So is that just a rumor? We don't know. He definitely left for some sort of mental health reason, but who cares?
He is the most interesting,
without a doubt,
story / golfer in golf, because with Tiger, we know what we got. We got total dominance in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Then we had the whole let your wife knock your window out and put you in the hospital, and you go on a hiatus for a while, and then the broken leg, and then they come back, and then the other broken leg now that we're dealing with. And the difference is we knew where Tiger was.
Anthony we don't even know where
dropped.
We don't know where he lives. He doesn't have social media. He's like an enigma.
Even when they showed the footage of him playing when he teed off the other day. They just basically showed a tee ball. He never addressed the camera. He never addressed any person. He just hit it, and he just kind of sashayed down the fairway like just another day of playing golf. And can you imagine if you're at your club, you're at AU club, Anthony Kim just comes up and this is what people said he's been doing.
Yeah,
you guys mind if I jump in? Are you serious right now?
Yeah. he's like the just like a mystery superhero.
Here's what I love though. People have respect. They said he's done that. You talk about other people have social media. You hadn't seen any posts. You hadn't seen any share. So I wonder if he gets there and he's like, I only got one request. Like, let's not make this a big deal, please. And people have honored it because, no kidding, Kyle, I have not seen where Anthony Kim has been in 10 years, except for there was a sighting because I noticed he had like a sleeve tattoo.
Yeah, I saw that. He was like at a bar or something like that. And took a selfie with somebody.
And so I'm sitting there going, oh, wow. So he's just hanging out and living off his money and drinking and partying and having a good time. But apparently he's been practicing golf too. So
that never stopped.
I did wonder if Liv was a viable option because he's a big team guy. Like he loved Ryder Cup, President's Cup, all that stuff. So big team guy. I didn't know if that would kind of float his boat. Now that you've mentioned the insurance policy, he may not have a choice. It may have to be the PGA Tour because they basically floated him for 10 years and said
he may owe it to him.
Yeah, it's kind of and he's. I mean, he does seem like a good. Speaking of team, like a good team guy. / all right, I'll pay my debt. I'll come back. I'll be. But man, here's my thing. Forget 2024. Let's just get him in, get him settled. 2025, he and Tiger walking down Augusta on 18 together.
We got to get him qualified for Augusta first because I assume that world ranking is
there's no way.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
The good news is if he joins the PGA Tour again, he will have a sponsor's exemption to any event he wants to play in. So like he becomes the biggest draw of the PGA Tour.
Yes.
Mine other than Tiger, immediately.
I mean, there are people already. There are designs floating out now on social media of the belt buckles he needs to be wearing.
I hope we're past that. I don't want to remember AK with the belt buckles.
Why not?
That was. I like new AK with the long hair, slim fit stuff, looking athletic hoodie. That's AK.
I like the baggy pants.
No, God, that was terrible. That was terrible.
I like the baggy pants with the big belt buckle.
No.
And let's shave the head.
No, absolutely not. If he doesn't have long hair, I'm rooting against him.
He and Aaron both of them have gone long hair when they both made their comebacks in golf.
The videos, he's had long hair.
Yeah, he has.
He's had long hair, and there's been a hoodie involved.
And who is going to sponsor it?
No Nike.
How stupid was that? Nike's getting out of the deal with Tiger about to come back and play regularly, and AK coming back. Your two biggest money makers in golf, and you're like, you know what? And it's not like they're going out of business. They just signed somebody. We were talking about it last time. They just signed somebody that they, I think I sent you a post or something that a current player just signed with Nike. So they're not getting out of the apparel business. They just couldn't come to terms with Tiger. And it doesn't look like they're coming to terms with AK. So
that'll be a storyline. What sponsor does he show up with?
He does play TaylorMades.
I'm sure he's a TaylorMade guy for sure. So that'll be fun to watch. And then Max Homa. This is what was interesting. We always talked about, like, what would Liv pay?
Max is the PGA Tour leaker.
He is a leaker.
In case y'all are wondering, he can't help himself. Now, he does hide it in his tweets, but he still tweets out information that he probably shouldn't tweet out.
An example, when he said, how wild would it be if John Rahm came out to his Liv press conference in that Liv Letterman jacket?
In the Liv Letterman, and that's
and
what
then he did it.
Yeah.
And he always throws out little things like there to kind of give you a hint. Well, he basically said, this is the way the negotiations have been going with Anthony Kim. PGA Tour, please join our tour. Live Tour, please join our tour. And here's $500 million.
Yeah.
So people that don't pay attention may think, he's just throwing that number out there. No, that is probably, more than likely, that is an incredibly legit number. AK, $500 million. And I gotta be honest, if I'm AK, I don't even know how good I'm gonna be. There's no way I don't take. No way I don't take that unless I legally can't. There's no way.
Maybe.
You know what you probably could do? He probably could pay back everything.
I was going to say,
the PGA Tour
for $500 million. There's no way they gave him over $100 million. So he can probably be like, you know what? I'll do it for $400 million. You guys cut a check to the PGA for $100 million. I'm there. And it may happen. I mean, there's nothing set in stone yet. Who knows what the negotiation? There's still. I told Kyle on the way over here. And this is jumping ahead a little bit, but there's still some negotiations going on because Liv's wanting to avoid getting in trouble with the Department of Justice and some government stuff. So there is rumor that a deal is close, and with that close deal, it looks like Liv will be able to remain a separate entity. Which this goes back to what Kyle and I said. The Liv guys are getting the steal on this because they're getting paid millions, and when they merge, it'll have their own separate entity, so they can still play events on the PGA Tour since it's a merger, because apparently it's a $3 billion was the number that got thrown out there.
Wow.
$3 billion merger. So don't think that Liv's going to give the PGA Tour $3 billion and their players ain't going to be able to play on the PGA Tour. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the Rahms, the DJs of the world, the Brooks Koepkas of the world. They all look like geniuses right now, because when 2025 rolls around, if this deal is set in stone like they say it probably is, in order to avoid the governmental interference, they're going to get to play both tours. And all the PGA guys that turned it down, suckers.
No, I mean...
sucks to be poor.
But I will say, golf needed this badly.
Mm-hmm.
The PGA Tour really needs this badly, because you only got Tiger for 12 events max. You said that. Which AK may not be any different, but you're losing guys like John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson. You see fields like you saw, which we're going to discuss a little bit later, at the Farmers this week, that just were,
Tony Finau's like the only guy on the top of the leaderboard that we knew who it was.
You know who it is. And in the elevated events that kill those events even worse, and again, that we're going to talk, you need something like this. Golf needs AK right now. So I cannot wait. I honestly tried to go back and think. I know he won the Wells Fargo was his big.
Yeah.
Wells Fargo, and then the Ryder Cup, where he said he was going to beat that ass to Sergio, and he did.
He did.
That's probably his big highlights, but it was always like, man, he's going to be the next big thing, the charisma and everything that went along with it.
And he had that aw shucks. The tape that always goes out that gets shared is he and Tiger on the range in LA.
Yeah.
And Tiger asking him questions, like technical questions.
And he ain't got a clue.
And he's going,
I just swing it, dude.
Man, I know when I do this, the ball does this. And Tiger's like, but why do you choke up? I don't know.
I don't
It just
know.
feels good the way I choke up on the club. That's why I do that. And he's like, but do you decide on distance? No.
No.
He's like, I'm a
It's
field.
that far.
He
It's
literally, he doesn't even need a cat. He said he's a field put. Like, he looks at his shot, and it doesn't matter if it's 180 yards. You know, if that's me, I'm hitting a 6 or a 5 iron. AK's like, just give me the 8. And he still sticks it pin high. Like, he doesn't have a caddy over there doing a bunch of numbers. He's a field player, and maybe, I don't know. He's a breath of fresh air for golf to come back. He's like all of us.
He's still only he can't be more than like what 35, like mid 30s.
Oh yeah, he's 40 years old. I mean, because when I was watching him, I mean, I was already in my mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
So sorry, technical difficulties. Told you we had a new setup, doing all that kind of
Still
stuff.
learning.
Yeah, we're still trial by fire. You know what I mean? But what I was saying is, he's got to be somewhere in his 30s. I mean, he can't be over 40 years old now.
I looked it up. He's 38. So, which is, I honestly thought he was younger than that. So, but still, I mean,
I still thought 35, so we're not far off.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought 30, mid 30s, and again, breath of fresh air. I look for him being on tour. I think tons of people are going to be tuning in on Thursday. That's why the PGA Tour needs him.
Oh yeah.
Viewership on Thursday and Friday that they ain't been getting, and as Kyle said, we'll talk about it because all these daggum elevated events, and then they decided to, because of football, even move last week's tournament up a day, which I told Kyle I didn't even realize it until I started watching the tournament on Thursday, and they were like, day 2. I'm like, what? Day 2? So, yeah, and I get it because of football and all that kind of stuff, ratings, but LPGA Tour did. Nelly Corda, shout out. Nice job. Big win.
Yeah. So, conspiracy theory: did the PGA Tour throw a bunch of money at AK to get him to come back, or do you think this is just he wanted to come back?
I think he wanted to come back.
You don't think this was if he goes with the PGA Tour, you don't think this was like the PGA Tour's Hail Mary in this scenario to maybe somehow win?
No, but I think they use their assets. I mean, he and Tiger were so close. I bet they got Tiger to reach out to him and be like, hey, you know, you can come out here and you can make a difference. And, you know, but as far as throwing money, no, man, because if they get caught doing that, that's just going to.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. This is the PGA Tour is desperate right
Kyle
now.
thinks somebody cut a check.
Big time. Cut the check.
He thinks that AK's on NIL money with the PGA Tour.
There you go. There you go. Well, look, before we talk about our next topic, another guy joining the Live Tour. I think they pretty much finalized everything now. They have their full roster set. I want to give a shout out to Bad Birdie's golf apparel. Use coupon code DADS15, DAD plural, DADS 15 for 15% off literally every single order you have from now until eternity. The whole staff here wears Bad Birdie stuff. So like it's great for the golf course. It's great for just casual wear. They got stuff for the cold weather. They got stuff for the warm weather. Their hats are fantastic. Check them out. Bad Birdie Golf Apparel. It's where fashion starts.
It's not their slogan, but that's what we're
But I'm going to say it. That's what it is. All right. So there's a lot of speculation about who is going to be the last member, the last Live guy that was added to the rotation this season, and I think they threw one final Hail Mary at Victor Hovland, and he turned it down one more time. I don't know why, but he did. He turned it down one more time. The reigning FedEx Cup points champion, and they settled on the number 16 player in the world, Tyrrell Hatton. On the surface, it's probably a meh. I don't think, but I think globally, especially in Europe, that's a huge ad. Again, number 16 player in the world. So I think the rumored money was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 million. He's probably on the back. I mean, there's no doubt he's on the back nine of his career. He's got to be. I would imagine he's in his upper 30s. I'm not going to look because I don't want to shut this whole thing down again. But I would imagine he's in his upper 30s. But man, can you imagine the hot mics you could catch between? And he's on John Rahm's team between Rahm and Hatton. and maybe they spice it up even more for for the live.
Well, they were teammates on the Ryder Cup. Apparently, been roommates before whenever they've been out and about and played in like President's Cup events and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it looks like the two of them are two peas in a pod. They both have tempers, which I don't know how much Rahm's going to show that with Liv, just because it seems a little bit more easygoing with the music and the little bit lower crowds and that kind of stuff. But it should be interesting. Tyrrell Hatton, I think he gets mad just waking up and having to chip balls. So I think he's going to be super upset at some point, and the unedited versions on YouTube should be quite as spectacular as the hot mics that Tyrrell Hatton throws out there.
Does so the roster being set, do you feel like this was how would you rate, I guess, this offseason on 1 to 10?
8.5 to 9. I mean, with Rahm makes him a 9.
Yeah, just him.
And Tyrrell, I mean, it's not a 10 because they missed out on Hovland, who was the FedEx, so they didn't get everything they wanted. But I mean, you get the number 1 player in the world, and you get the number 16 player in the world, and you put them on the same team.
And there was several global pieces that they added, younger guys.
Yeah.
And we talked about that probably. There was rumors that, gosh, what was the amateurs kid's name that just won the tournament?
Oh, the Bama kid, yeah.
They threw $25 million at him. Like, there were several guys like that they went after. Nick Dunlap. And then they got one guy that his name escapes me, but regardless, they
I saw their 4 additions. They got 4 additions. I only recognized Tyrrell and the one other guy as far as name wise. But the other 2 guys are like European Tour players that apparently a lot of Europeans know. So
yeah, it's a global league. It's a global. Yeah. That's what they label it as, a global golf league, and they've made some strategic hires. I would say, man, Rahm to me makes it almost. It's hard not to make it a 10.
It is.
I mean, you can argue that the biggest draw of the whole tour is going to be Jon Rahm. Brooks is huge. Dustin's huge. Phil's huge. Mm-hmm. You know, Harold Varner's big. Like, all those guys are big, but like Jon Rahm is those guys are also big, very big in the United States. Jon Rahm's big in the United States as well as everywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, you're essentially talking about the best player in the world that you added. I mean, it's hard not to say that that's not a huge win. So it'll be interesting to see. I guess the CW is still. I wish like Netflix or Amazon Prime or somebody like that would pick it up. And
all I can say is, if you want to watch it, your best bet's going to be YouTube. I mean, I saw some stats and figures the other day where they were talking about quote unquote cutting the cord and what the younger generation's doing. And I mean, right now YouTube is making far more money than they made more money this past year than ESPN, the Golf Channel. Networks did better than them, like NBC, CBS, but as far as cable is concerned and where you would watch other rounds of golf, YouTube seems to be the way to go. Plus, as I said, you get it unedited, so you're going to see Jon Rahm throw a hissy fit. You see Tyrrell Hatton throw a hissy fit. Sure, Brooks Koepka will drop a couple of F-bombs here and there whenever he's out and about on tour. So
Brooks went back to the high and tight.
I saw
hairdo.
He
got rid of the mullet. He's back to the.
I like the mullet.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't look good on him. I like.
His mullet reminded me of when he was at Florida State, because all the old pictures they show, he had the mullet at Florida State, which is kind of funny because out on tour here locally, one guy that sticks out in my mind, Jason Duffner, who is still trying to get back and get his card, but he did have a run there for a while on PGA Tour. People forget when he played college golf at Auburn, because I was helping out with sports.
It's like a blonde mullet, wasn't it?
No, he bleached it.
Yeah,
he bleached it and then he shaved it. He went bald. I didn't even know the man had hair until he came out on tour and he grew it out.
Yeah.
Because his freshman year he dyed it. Freshman and sophomore year he dyed it blonde, and then he shaved it.
I can't stop eating this stuff.
I know, it's delicious. And then he shaved it after that and was bald, and I was like, oh, he must, because a lot of college golfers, when they start losing their hair, they just go ahead and shave it. It's just a whole lot easier to do. And so I thought, oh, he must be losing his hair already. So he shaves it. And then the very first time I saw him on tour, he had hair down to his shoulders. So I was like, what in the world's going on here? So, because he had hair the length of mine and Kyle's in college his freshman and sophomore year. And then he shaved it off. And then I guess at some point in time when he was in what was then the web.com tour before he qualified to get on the PGA Tour, he grew his hair out. So kept cut just the opposite. He went in with a mullet, and now he's going high and tight.
I like it. I like clean cut Brooks. I'm actually pretty pumped for the Live Tour this year. I'm pretty pumped for it to get kicked off. It should get kicked off here pretty quick. We have the Pebble Beach, which will be the first elevated event, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. Finally, your golf season feels like you had the Farmers this past weekend. Finally, golf is back. It feels like it's back. You're done with all these this Hawaii stuff that nobody watches or cares about. Like, we're getting into these big.
Yeah.
We're going to get into these big events. You're going to have Pebble Beach. You're going to have Riviera, and then before you know it, it's going
Waste management.
Waste management, and then before you know it, it's going to be the Players Championship and then the Masters. So, golf season really seems to be getting kicked off now. Feels like it's being kicked off. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So,
I'm not going to ask Kyle because Kyle's geographically he sucks at geography.
Terrible.
I am curious because I remember a lot of people flew into Vegas to go to the National Championship game in Phoenix.
2013.
So I'm wondering, this could be the next. Now that Vegas has a football team, this could be the next guys getaway. They could do the Waste Management Open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then go to the Super Bowl on Sunday in Vegas, which I think it's only like a 4-hour drive away, if that. It may not even be that, maybe more than that, I'm not sure. I just know a lot of people flew into Vegas to go to Phoenix for national championship games, so that may be an option.
Seems like a long drive.
Yeah, that may.
That seems like it'd be a long drive. Now, I flew into Vegas to drive to LA. I don't know. I could be way wrong. My geography sucks. I
can't believe you just volunteered that information.
I'm taking a step out right now, so which I probably should. And but yeah, it's that could be a great weekend. So PGA Tour, we just talked about getting kicked off. We're about to get into what's called the Elevated event season, where the PGA Tour is their competition for the Live. A competition against
so
Live.
right. 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours? Nailed it. Guy's great at geography. So if you want to fly into Vegas and then drive to Scottsdale, it is 4.5 hours.
Yes.
So, or ish.
Ish.
So, all right. So, elevated golf season, elevated PGA Tour event season is starting. There's 12. It's their competition to have the most of the top players in the field versus what Live does. And there's supposed to be no cut. It's like 65, 75 players. Everybody gets elevated purses. Everybody gets paid. Everybody kumbaya. Well, the problem with these elevated events, the ancillary events like your farmers, those type tournaments are just going to get absolutely dump trucked by people just not attending. Players, there's no incentive anymore for those guys to really go play in those unless they're on the borderline of falling out of that top 50 because they got this new criteria now. So the top 50 are automatically in, but then they got this new criteria. It's called AON top 10, and then there's an AON top 5. Essentially, you read, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can't understand when you read about them. Basically, it's like March Madness, last 15 in, first 15 out. It's kind of like the swing players that could go either way. So, but it's just absolutely destroying good events like the Farmers.
And listen, we get it. Some of them, like the John Deere, things like that. There weren't a lot of people watching a lot of that anyway. The Barbasol came here for a while, and now it's up in Kentucky. I get they're not watching that, but I told Kyle, I said this set the tone this past week when literally on the front 3 pages of the leaderboard there may have been 5 guys that I knew their name. And the reason being is, and I had to look it up, and eventually I can't believe they addressed it in the booth. They said, well, this isn't an elevated event, that's next week. And I thought, oh, okay. And I thought, well, that's stupid. This is Torrey Pines.
Iconic event.
This is a destination course that all golfers want to go play. Why? Because Tiger won there. Phil is from there and has won there.
John Rahm, his first win was there.
Yeah. I mean,
Tiger's U.S. Open, the 2008 U.S. Open, the iconic broken leg.
Yeah.
It's at Torrey Pines. Like it is a huge event.
Had a buddy that got married in San Diego. They went out there early. I could not get out there in time because of work, but they played on he was getting married on Saturday. They played Torrey on Tuesday, and I mean that's the whole thing. They kept building around all these PGA Tour players that had come through the clubhouse, and they made it a real big deal. And then now it's going to turn into, if it doesn't become an elevated event, which it could in the next couple of years, I guess. You're going to see what we saw last weekend, which is, like Kyle just said, you got 15 players that are fringe guys that have to play in it because they try to get the points. So they play next week, or this week rather, in
everybody else.
In Pebble, and then there's everybody else that's just trying to. They're either low on the totem pole, they're in the bottom part of as far as having their card. I mean, they're a pro, but they're not household names. I mean, there were no, there was no JT. No Ricky, none of those guys. And some people go, well, they didn't play because it wasn't an elevated event. It's going to turn into the guys that are in that top are going to play elevated events only because they already want to play the majors. So there's 4 of your tournaments right there. Yep. And then the 12 elevated events. So there's your 16 tournaments. And most guys will tell you they don't want to play over 20 every year. Some, which is why Rob went to Live, don't even want to play the full 20. But because of sponsorships and obligations, they have to. And so it's going to be frustrating that some of these iconic courses, after the Masters Harbortown, not an elevated event. I'm sure we'll see less people going on, and playing that.
The short drive over there is just not. There's no incentive to do it anymore.
So because guys want to play for the points and for the money, and the elevated events count so much more of both that these other tournaments, these John Deere Classics, these Wells Fargo, was it Travelers or Wells Fargo last year that complained? Maybe it was Wells Fargo that they basically said
Wells Fargo still won. I think it was the Travelers.
It was either Travelers or it was somebody on the East Coast where they said, no, it was a Honda Classic, and Honda said, we're not doing this anymore. Just flat out said it. We're not doing.
Honda said.
Yeah, Honda said that.
We're not. There's no sponsor. Like, how do you sell that?
Like, you're asking us to pay the same that we paid every year, and we used to get Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods and Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas, and now we're getting Sahith Theegala's caddy that's trying to qualify. Like, it's not even Sahith himself.
Yeah, you're just getting the guy. Like, even though we like to watch those guys, your everyday golf fan, like your average golf fan, is just not going to watch.
No, my dad doesn't. He didn't know because Nelly and what's her name that went in the playoffs. My dad, he texted me. He goes, "Yeah, Lydia Cove." He said, "Are you watching the tournament this Saturday?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on CBS." And he goes, "No, the one on Golf Channel." I said, "What? That's on Golf Channel." And he said, "Nelly's leading the tournament." Like, Nelly was more of a household name than the leaderboard on the PGA Tour. So my father watched Lydia Ko and Nelly Korda play on Saturday.
Yep.
And then the final round on Sunday, he DVR'd so he could watch later, which turned out to be a great tournament, by the way, because Nelly, I think, had the Eagle 16, birdie 17, and birdie 18 to go into a playoff, and then ended up winning in the playoff. So, hey, yeah, and good for LPGA Tour. If they're going to keep their name brand out there, and they're not going to do the elevated events, and they're going to have the Nellies, and when her sister gets back, because apparently she's close to being in labor, she still hasn't had that baby. I feel like she's been pregnant for 3 years. But Nelly even said that. She said, if anything throws her into labor, it'll be me.
Jessica.
Coming down the end. Yeah, Jessica said, if anybody throws her into labor, it'll be me coming down to the end and having to be in a playoff. So, good for the LPGA Tour if they're going to have the Lexis and the Nellies and the Lydia Ko's and and all those superstars that are going to play on the weekends and play in events that aren't signature events, because Dad watched them. He flipped over. He said it was better golf than what he was seeing. Even though he loves Torrey, he had no idea who any of those guys were.
I get it. But guys, we appreciate you listening. Don't forget, sign up for the Winter League. It's
because you get these
couple of weeks away.
Poutine.
You're gonna have the great food,
or poutine is
the atmosphere, the chance to win prizes. Super Bowl Sunday is the sign-up party. and then and then we start playing. The league kicks off the week after that.
Yep.
So make sure you call, get signed up for that, because it's going to be an absolute blast. You're going to get to play Pebble Beach. You're going to get to play the Torrey Pines, St. Andrews, all the courses that we talked about. The Bear Trap at PGA National. We're going to we're going to scramble those courses that you'd never get to probably scramble in real life.
Do we know if we have to putt yet or not?
We don't know the rules on putting.
Damn it.
To be determined. To be determined. So, guys, we really appreciate it. This is episode 307 of the Dad Bod Golf Pod here live at Bunkers, and we're always
Stroking